News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome to Why Do You Think That? Today we have Barb Johnston. She's with Quilts for Cancer, a charitable organization located right here in Pahrump. And she's going to inform us on some of the things that they do locally here. Barb, how you doing today?
Great. It's great to be up here.
So tell us a little bit about Quilts for Cancer, what you do, and what's on tap.
Okay, Quilts for Cancer started approximately 11 years ago here in Pahrump. We had a similar charity in New York, and when you move from New York to Nevada, certain tax things have to change. So it took us a little bit to get all the IRS paperwork and everything changed so we could be legit. We are a 501c3 charity, which means when people donate to us, either cash or supplies, it is tax deductible. And some people, it makes a big difference. Others, it doesn't. We started doing quilts just for cancer patients, especially children. Here in Pahrump, children aren't treated with cancer per se. They may have their regular physician here. However, for oncology treatments and everything, they do go into Las Vegas. Las Vegas needs approximately 200 quilts a year for new cancer patients that are served in the Las Vegas area, which is a little more than just Nevada because of, where they are. Some come from Utah, Arizona, and even a couple from California. So that's one of our projects, and we do have a sponsor for that. The Hotel Concierge Association every year in Las Vegas gives us a large donation to cover those quilts.
Great.
Here in Pahrump, we do quilts. When people call, we never get our names of the patients because of confidentiality and HIPAA laws. Even though we're not a medical person treating anyone, we honor the HIPAA laws and the doctors have to. So when a doctor's office calls us, we ask man or woman. That's about it, or teenager.
Okay.
And we do the best we can to match the quilt with the general description we have. And the quilts go to the person. All of our quilts are machine washable. Now, when you're having cancer treatment, sometimes you're ill, sometimes you're not. You feel like you have the flu a lot. So a quilt, if you can think when the last time you had a cold or a flu or something, you cuddle up with a quilt. You cover up in a recliner, on a sofa. It's not a bed-size quilt, but it's just something to give comfort. And what's nice that all the volunteers know, and the sponsors even that donate the funds, these quilts physically touch someone. They actually give warmth to someone that needs it. Now, here in Pahrump, in the last few years, we've expanded because we do adult quilts here in Pahrump. We just cannot do them for Las Vegas. We'd need a huge factory. We just cannot make that many.
Right.
But here in Pahrump, we do a lot for our veterans, hospice, and evergreen, because they also need the quilts.
Right.
And we started also working with the homeless veterans and veterans in need. Now, sometimes in need, if it's veterans or students or adults, don't necessarily have to be homeless living outside, but they're in a very needy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, our valley, like so many areas in the country, we have a lot of working poor families where parents are working, but it's robbing Peter to pay Paul each month.
Right.
They just don't have anything extra for those little extras. So when they're ill, it's some of the house fires. If we have extra quilts on hand, we'll do them. So Pahrump is a little broader base than just cancer.
How many quilters are involved in this?
It varies. We have about a dozen diehard quilters that live here in Pahrump. We have a lot of snowbirds that come in from time to time, or part of the year. They're not here year-round. And then because of our website and publications in the quilt world, so to speak, we get people sending us stuff from all over, just absolutely all over. They find out about the project in some of our special events, so they send in items. Right now we're doing a very special project, and we're having a fundraiser Sunday, January 15th, at the Nugget. The Nugget is hosting a poker tournament.
Okay.
I know very little about poker. I don't play poker. However, the poker tournament starts at 1 o'clock. The doors open at noon. It's a $60 buy-in. And of that, similar poker tournaments have been held at the Nugget. I'm sure many of the players out there realize and know ahead of time what it's all about. Mm-hmm. The charity gets $25, and the pot going to the winners gets $25. And then the $10 goes to the Nugget to cover all the flyers and advertisings and things like that.
Nice.
So if you want to play in that tournament, it's best to contact Jeff at the poker room at the Nugget.
Okay.
Because to ask much else, I just would have to refer you on anyway.
Right.
Like I said, I know the date and the time, and we're the benefactor. However, details I just do not know on.
Right. But do you know, for the poker tournament, could somebody pretty much show up Sunday and get in?
Yes.
Okay.
We haven't filled all the seats yet. We are hoping for 80 players, and that would fulfill our need for a special project that we're doing for veterans, primarily across southern Nevada. We were approached approximately 2.5 years ago while we were in San Diego, my husband and I, when I say we, because of all of his medical needs with the Veterans Association. There was actually someone there from Las Vegas that was working with the new hospital that's going to open in North Las Vegas for the veterans. And I, by chance, was taking some quilts to the San Diego facility, and he said kind of jokingly, well, we can use 300. And I kind of went, whoa, let me think on that one. Well, we're almost done.
Wow.
2.5 years of work, and this has spread across the country.
Wow.
We will be the first VA hospital in our country to open with a quilt on every bed for the veteran.
Wow, nice.
So it's been a lot of work. We're not there yet. We're almost there.
Wow. That's
so
awesome.
By May, we will have 300 done.
So
and that's what the fundraising event is
big
for.
enough to cover a whole bed.
The top of the bed. It's not going to go over and overhang.
Still.
For quilters, it's 50 by 70.
Okay.
Which covers the top of a hospital bed perfectly.
300.
300.
That's a lot of stitching.
It is a lot of stitching. We have a lot of tops done right now. We're waiting for the fundraiser because we like to do the backs in one piece. And for that, we do volume discount buying. As a nonprofit, we get things, I'd like to say, at steal prices. Wow. Because we're a charity and we verify we're not selling our quilts, we're not keeping our quilts, we have a couple of vendors that we deal with that we get the stuff unbelievably.
Now, do you make these in a group, a regular quilting bee, or do the individuals work on their own at their home alone? Or
we do both, because sometimes we do get together. And in a couple of weeks, I haven't set up all the details. We're going to have a tying day because some of the quilts will be tied, not machine quilted. Some of the people's work schedule. I mean, we're a 24-hour state. People work round the clock.
Right.
So a lot is done in individual homes in small groups, but then a few times a year we get together at larger groups. And if you can do a square knot, and all those Boy Scouts out there can do a square knot, you can tie our quilts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's service time. It's service time if they need the service time, as we're a charity and they're doing something for someone else.
So when you're actually making the quilts, you open this up to more volunteers to come in?
And a lot of people that can't sew want to just help by tying quilts.
Okay.
So that's something very easy. You can kind of talk away because you're literally just tying a square knot, which is a knot one way, and then you switch the strings and tie again. So it's almost...
It's got a really rich tradition, and as an art, part of American folklore, and it appears that it would be pretty hard to make one. But is it basically easy to do with a lot of time?
It depends. You can do the quilt I have here is
let's
really simple.
unfurl
Now, I
it
don't
here
know
for the
where-
camera.
This is what's called a strip quilt because it's made in strips. And what we're doing...
Tell you what, let me hold it up over here and
the
give people...
print material in the center actually is doing the work. You feature on that print. In this case, it is Marines. And then we have navy and red. However, that could be hunting dogs, geese, cars, trains. For an infant child, it could be infant items. It can be anything. And this particular quilt, you can pretty much put the top together in a day.
Is this a standard 50 by 70
Yes,
quilt?
it is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
really nice.
what's nice with your 50 by 70s, Doug, is they're washable. We need these quilts to be washable, and this can go in a standard washing machine. So any standard washing machine in a home can wash this.
Nice thing about a quilt, it's a keepsake and an heirloom. It's not like
It can be an heirloom.
It's not like you wear them out and throw them away. They can last forever.
They can. Now, this particular quilt is a very easy quilt. It's not the type you will see at the Fiber Arts Festival coming up, I think it's in about a month here in Pahrump. They're doing museum quality heirloom quilts. This is a simpler quilt. However, when you think it's going to someone in need,
Right.
at a couple of events where I've actually met people or seen people, I don't know their names, some people think you're giving them $1 million. They just are so thrilled.
Yeah.
And parents, when you go to a childhood cancer event and you've got a table of quilts and kids can pick out any quilt, or you're going through a hallway with a gurney in the hospital full of quilts and kids can pick them, it breaks your heart and warms it in the same time.
That is nice.
Because the child is suffering with cancer, however, they're having fun picking out a quilt.
That's nice. Oh, they get
And
to pick their own.
At certain times. It depends on
Yeah.
the event that they're doing.
That's really interesting. The VA getting the 300, you said they'll get those 300 quilts real soon. Do you know about
Approximately
when?
May. We don't have an opening date as yet. It's close.
And that's over in Vegas.
North Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Wow.
I have to look at, I just can't remember the street address.
Wow.
Off the
You're
top
going to
of
have
my head.
to alert the media on that one.
Yes, and we're going to have to carpool it because needless to say, my car can't handle 300 quilts.
Yeah.
SUV or not, 300 quilts will not fit.
Wow.
So a couple of key volunteers from Pahrump will go in, and we'll let you know.
That is a
because
lot.
it's going to be, to me,
That's
phenomenal.
awesome. Yeah.
And not that it's me, myself, but it all started here in, with Pahrump behind me. If it's Pahrump that's really doing most of these quilts.
Wow.
I mean, it's
Awesome.
our charity, but it's been the help of Pahrump and like the Nugget with their fundraiser. If
Is
it
this
wasn't-
something that is nationwide and catching on with quilters?
Quilters nationwide do a lot for different
Mm-hmm.
needs. There's all kinds.
I remember 25 years ago, Crack Babies
Crack babies, AIDS
was one of the
babies.
first ones.
That was one of the first ones.
Right.
Quilting really expanded charity-wise with the internet and email. Because before that, you just didn't have the communications of strangers and quilters. You put those words together. Now you go on Facebook and can put up something. Or through websites, it's just exploded. Before that, it was much smaller circles. Now, it's much broader base. And for our Veterans Project, we got 3 quilt tops. They weren't the finished quilts, but they were the tops. They're getting finished now. From Italy, from an American woman that is stationed over there, and she read about it.
Huh.
And it's funny how small this world can be with the technology at times.
Yes, I agree. Social media and everything else.
Social
it's a great
media
thing.
and websites. I mean, a small little website can do amazing. And like I said, I'm pleased that it's being organized with help from here in Pahrump.
Yeah,
I think
it's a great community.
sometimes Pahrump is looked down upon, where this, to me, is a huge feather in everyone's cap.
Yeah.
And come mid-March, the Friday before National Quilting Day, because we do have our own National Day, we're going to have a display up at the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll have some coffee and cookies of some of the veterans' quilts. We're not going to bring in 300.
Okay.
It's just too much work for our volunteers. You know, we're
Takes
getting
up a lot of
tired.
space.
Yeah, but we're going to have some of the quilts up there.
Cool. All right, so just to recap, the big thing really that we would like to see the people of Pahrump, and if anybody anywhere is going to be in the Pahrump area this coming Sunday, the 15th, we want them to go to the Pahrump Nugget and enter that poker tournament.
Correct.
And those proceeds go directly, well,
It's-
$60, $25
goes to charity.
Goes
Correct.
to charity.
Because you need something for the winners.
Right.
Yes. Now,
Great.
last summer they did this, and Don Trudeau was the winner. So I don't know if there's someone out there that thinks they can beat Don or not. I don't know. He won the last tournament that they hosted for us.
Oh, Diamond Don Trudeau. Mr. Pokerface.
Yes. And also, if there's anyone here in Pahrump that wants, we're still looking for door prizes for the tournament. And you can drop them off to the Nugget.
Okay.
And even gift cards. We realize things are tough. The economy's not the best. A $10 gift card gets someone in your place of business, but it still gives them a nice little price. I mean, $10 off whatever you're doing.
Sure.
You know,
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps.
Wow.
And
Very
everyone
worthwhile.
likes to win. Everyone likes to win. If it's a
Yeah.
door prize or the poker tournament, everyone likes to win.
Are you present when people get their quilts? Is it a...
Sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not because of privacy.
Yeah.
A couple times a year I'll go to events where the people are there and you don't. And when you go to Evergreen, sometimes the people say their name and they want to talk to you. However, my memory's not that good, so I wouldn't remember all their names.
But it's got to be always well received and very welcome.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's nice. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming by today, Barb. And folks, get in touch with the Pahrump Nugget. That's this Sunday, January 15th. What time does it start?
1 o'clock.
1
Doors
o'clock.
open at noon.
They can reserve a seat ahead of time?
They can. They just call Jeff at the
Reserve
poker
your
room.
seat ahead of time, $60 buy-in. They're looking to get as many as 80 of you up there. That's a pretty good pot. 80 times 25.
Yeah.
That's $2,000 pot.
Right.
That's
but
nice.
when you have thousands of yards of material to buy,
yeah.
you need it.
That's also $2,000 goes to you guys.
Well, it's all going to the Veterans Quilts.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
all going to the Veterans.
That's awesome. Okay, we want you guys to show up and Quilts for Cancer, go to their website, or you see their phone number there, 775-751-5356. Very worthwhile cause and something I think just about anybody can get behind.
Thank you.
All right.